You're now live.
Okay, we're live and I'm still looking for the TIF section. Audit schedule, okay. So, and Abby is with them, right?
Correct, but I can get her at any point.
Okay, well, I think what we may need to, I'm just looking to, this is the House proposal, so let's see. That they haven't voted out yet, but I don't think any changes have been made to the TIF section.
Madam Chair, they just shift the timing.
Okay,
That's all it is.
all right, because we did debt incurrence extensions. And then I think the only thing they changed was number 4, right? Burlington Tax Earner Church Street.
I'll be honest, I'm not sure about the the in debt thing.
Yeah, I don't, that's not it.
Incur indebtedness by 1 year. I'm not sure what that is, 26A.
Can Abby explain that to us?
Well, Abby is right now with the House. We're seeing if we can get her.
I see, okay.
I'm
I'm
trying.
sorry, do you want me to get her?
Yeah, can you see if we can get her?
Yes, I'm sorry, I didn't know.
Wait,
Hold on.
the
And Becky
the thing
Wasserman,
is above that.
Becky Wasserman may also be able to explain that.
Yeah. Okay, so it says the audit shall, this is the waterfront district, an audit shall be done on or before January 1st, 2022. So that's this coming January. And it shall be conducted not more than 3 years from the date debt is incurred. And a final audit shall be concluded at the end of the retention period.
As you read that, Madam Chair, I'm trying to pull it up myself. That,
I am looking at page 5 and bottom of page 5, top of page 6 in the House proposal that's on our website today.
okay.
The side by side.
No, this is the actual draft 1.3 House proposal of amendment.
Okay.
Then I'm going to check out the side by side and see what it says.
I thought the side by
All
side,
right, our audit said not less than 5 years.
Right.
Burlington, not less than 5 years after the effective date of rules adopted in something and not more than 3 years from the date debt is incurred as allowed by the 2020 acts and resolves, a final audit at the end.
So, Madam Chair,
Yes.
do you know how, if we did the math on our language in 26 versus what they spell out explicitly in their version of 26, with January 1, 2022, where do we come out compared to where they come out? I don't know.
I don't know.
Telling us.
That's the trouble, because I've got to find a copy of, we don't have our full proposal in front of us.
So if I may, Madam Chair, as I understand it, actually, I'm glad you've brought this up, Madam Chair. I'm not sure about the 3 years versus 5 years. What I had noticed was the January 1st. That was clearly what the city had asked for and not what the auditor wanted. And we went with the auditor. The Senate's position was the auditor's position unless they could sort it out. And my assertion is that they didn't sort it out. And so we should promote our position. But that just had to do with that first date and when the audit could start. And you'll recall the auditor saying they had desire to get moving sooner.
Yes. And I recall telling them, we are going to do an audit and you guys work out. I think what the auditor had said to us was that they would replace the audit on the downtown TIF, move that out and do, but I thought that was due this year or next year, which would be the January 1st.
Faith, McDonald tells me he's ready to be let in. Sorry to interrupt.
And Senator McDonald is on the wrong Zoom. Thank you. I'll take care of it.
He's probably trying to get in where he got out of. All right.
So are we waiting on
Well,
Abby?
I don't think any of us are sure exactly what the change is. I think we've got two folks who don't play well together and they're not helping us find a date that works. And so we're trying to find a date that works. So Senator Hardy, you have a suggestion? You have 3 screens. What did you find?
Well, I'm just looking at the side by side and what the side by side says for the Ways and Means proposal of amendment would make one change to the audit schedule for the Burlington TIF district. The first audit shall be conducted on or after January 1st, 2022. I mean, that's in 6 months or 7 months.
And this one says the audit schedule.
And we had what for the Burlington TIF district? I don't even know what did we have, Chris?
Well, we were going by when the
Sooner.
last
Oh, we had it
audit
sooner.
was.
Okay.
And so we said not less than 5 years after the effective date of the rules. And I don't know, I don't remember changing those rules. Somebody did. When the issue with the downtown mall and the big hole happened, Burlington got a 10-year extension on that TIF in order to give them a reasonable amount of time to do what they needed to do. And they were slated to have a closeout audit of that TIF, which they have now had extended, and in the process of getting it extended, I guess no new TIF or audit date was put in. So they had one, I think I'm remembering this 5 years ago, they would have had a closeout audit. And now they haven't had one for 5 years and nothing got put in the new extension about an audit. So it would be 15 years from the time they had an audit till the closing audit got done. And there's a lot of money at play. So the auditor wanted to do an audit like now or next year. The city said, but the downtown, and we've been preparing for 2 years for this audit, which my former auditor and the present auditor said, well, if you have to prepare for 2 years, that's a red flag. Yeah, so it's the regularly scheduled downtown plus not going more than 5 years for an audit. So I'm gonna go to Senator Pearson and Senator Sirotkin because these are their districts and see if they know more than I do.
So I've just pulled up our language and their language, and I believe the only change is in little I, where they say an audit shall be conducted on or after January 1. And the rest of it's all the same, the 3 years and the final audit's all the same. And the way ours doesn't really have a date. But it is effectively, it says they could begin audit immediately.
Okay. Abby has joined us. So before we do more questions, maybe Abby can, because I know she's due back with them. Maybe Abby can tell us, there she is. So Abby, is that the one change that we just said not less than 5 years after this new extension went in? And the House said, no, it's got to start by January 1st of next year?
Yes, Madam Chair, that's correct. So for the record, Abby Shepherd, Office of Legislative Counsel, the only change, I repeated all of the language just to keep it clear. The only change is when the first audit would take place, which is about 6 months later than what your proposal had allowed the auditor to do. And there is a second section there that's added in.
Okay, what's added in?
That's an extension of the debt incurrence periods that was added into the miscellaneous tax bill last year. So it extends those periods.
Okay. That's right. We tacked that on to the mini TIF bills, I think. At least everything we did last year and all right. So it's the debt extension for approximately a year because the pandemic has set everybody back a year. And then setting in statute, I guess if you went by hours, it would be no more than 5 years. It would be now, and which is about the time they're doing their downtown audit. That's in process, I gather. This would say it's going to start January 1st. Okay. So Senator Sirotkin.
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. This has been a tough one. and
Michael, you got to get closer, or you got to get a new microphone.
This has been a tough one for me to sort through, and it's kind of frustrating that we're stuck on something which appears relatively, the differences between the two sides is very small. And I'm just going to lay out how I see it at this point, because I'm going to have to probably explain this to my good friend Doug Hoffer on the golf course sometime this summer anyhow. So what I hear the auditor saying is that he came in and he said the law required, he couldn't do this for another 4 years, and that's way too long. I couldn't agree more. But then he came in and said he wanted to do it immediately. And the city came back and said, we can be ready in 6 months. And the auditor said, that's not good enough. And the city says, well, our city hall shut down. We've been doing this other audit and we have to get ready. The auditor says he doesn't buy that argument. It's easy to get ready. I don't know, as I said before, I don't know where the truth lies, but it's hard to believe that we're going to be the ones to decide this. The one deciding factor of me where I can't decide between the two, as the auditor came in at the incredibly last minute and presented this to us.
Yes.
And I think the auditor claims it was a session law, so he didn't know. No, session laws are laws. I think in balance, I think.
Okay, we're switching legal counsel, I think. Abby needs to go back and Becky Wasserman's coming in.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank
So-
you, Madam Chair.
So where I come down in this context, because I don't know who's really more believable in terms of how hard it is to get ready for this audit, is because it was laid on us at such a late date. that I go with the city, or I could also just split the difference. You know, the auditor says he's not going to start till September 1st. So now we're down to a 4-month difference. If we have to be solemn in here, let's just do it 2 months if the House will go with that.
Well, what has been suggested to me is that we prepare a proposal of what in this whole bill, what we can accept, and we send it to the House, then they can send it back to us as the bill and we can just concur, and that saves us a concur, you know, with proposal of amendment and all the issues that can arise over a miscellaneous tax, you know, a rule suspension. At this point, we are quibbling over 2 months. I know it does take some time. If not prepping for an audit, then sitting down with the auditors people and going through the audit. I don't think 6 months is going to make or break anything. And okay, I've got Senator Hardy and then Senator Brock.
I think Senator Bray was before me. He's had his little yellow hand.
Oh,
So
I don't answer to yellow hands.
Well, I was just trying to be
We don't
quiet
do
and
that.
polite.
I'm looking at the middle of the screen, and up in the corner is your little yellow
right.
hand.
Using the wrong strategy.
Yes.
This is a question I think for Ms. Wasserman. So I went and looked up 32 VSA 5404 AJ1. And, you know, and I read that through to see how do you read that? Like what date does that deliver? I can't figure it out because of the rulemaking referred to. I don't know when it happened or completed or whatever. So what is our version, our little I generate as a date?
Sorry, you're not talking about what's in statute. Sorry, Becky Wasserman, Legislative Counsel. You're talking about what was in your version of the amendment, right? Not what is current law.
Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
I was trying to figure out what does our proposal actually mean? So I looked at 5404 and I can't understand what date this really delivers to us. What did we
So the
specify?
TIF rule was adopted in 2015, May 6, 2015. So it says 5 years from that date. So what it's actually saying is that basically any time from May
Now.
2020 that audit could occur.
Okay,
So it is not a date certain. So
sure.
the new proposal is giving a more of a date certain by saying, you know, anytime after January 1st or whatever date you pick. Right now there is, I guess, flexibility in the sense in the previous proposal that the auditor could start it. I mean, if that passes in July or whatever the effective date is, it could be started anytime after the effective date of the act, because it could happen anytime after May 2020, which has already passed.
Okay.
And I think, okay, go ahead.
Well, and so the thrust then of the House version, although it says conducted on or after, it's really not before. I mean, not before January 1, 2022. That's the security they want. Okay. Got it. Thanks very much. Now I know how big that window is. 7 months. Thanks.
Okay, Senator Hardy.
So thank you, Madam Chair. It seems bottom line is I agree with Senator Sorokin. I think if we can split the difference and go with September 1st, or is that what you were suggesting? Then that seems fair.
I think it's October. Well, it would be October.
Oh.
The auditor has said he's not going to start before September 1st. So basically we're arguing between September 1st and January 1st.
Yeah,
That's the difference.
it just seems kind of silly. They both missed the language. If
Right.
the city is saying we can't be ready, that means that they missed the language and the auditor missed the language. So splitting the difference to whatever date in the fall seems fine. This seems
All right,
kind
but
of
is
silly.
it worth putting a further wrinkle in this bill for 2 months?
It sounds to me like the House is just waiting for us to send them what we want. So we can put in a date and say, this is what we want, and then they'll send it back to us. That's what I have been told.
I like September 1. That's
Okay. So Senator Brock,
I do as well. September 1, whether or not they will start on September 1 remains to be seen, but I would prefer sooner rather than later. As I understand it, though, the auditor has the ability to audit anything at any time, regardless of the constraint.
no,
And
he
so
just has to pay for it.
Well, our option would be to take it out entirely and leave it to the auditor.
No, he was very
That would-
clear. He wants
that
us
one
to
would
put it in because if we put it in, the TIF district pays for it.
Yeah. So as I say,
No.
I lean towards September 1.
Okay,
Just to be clear, I was not suggesting September 1.
what
because
were you suggesting?
I was suggesting October 1.
Can we all agree with October
With
1?
that too, sure.
All right,
Geez, November 1.
okay, so we will
November
agree
1,
with this section. Then
Are you
we
okay
get,
with that, Pearson?
September 15th.
It's actually, the splitting the difference. my math
okay,
Terrible is November 1st, but whatever.
Beware Burlington politics. Okay.
we're at the end of the session on a hot day when we have been at this too long. Okay, so we will send them back a proposal for October 1st for the auditor. Then we get back to the easy part, the taxes. Can we agree to the proposed compromise language,
Yes.
which is the tax rate at 1.5, the 14 million set aside, along with 150 million or 1.5 million. No, it's more than that. It's 150 million of general fund money to sit in reserve until the pension study committee has come up with a pension solution. Is that okay?
Yes.
Senator Bray.
So, but the way you said it, I'm not sure I see that in their proposal. I mean, I'm seeing
Let's,
a non-homestead rate and yield values.
The OPEB language is in the big bill. I asked Senator Kitchell that. So you're not going to see the
Yeah.
whole thing in here, Senator Bray, because it's part of it's in the big bill.
out.
Yeah, I do understand that.
Okay.
But what I'm trying to say is 1.5, referencing to 1.5 as a rate, I don't see that in the bill. I'm just trying to make.
Yields. Abby, can you help us find that? It goes down as a yield. I believe in the bill, it's called the yield bill for that reason, but it translates into a tax rate. Is that what's going on?
Yes, that's correct, Madam Chair. So I think you're referring to the average change in the tax bills.
Yes.
Senator Bray, is that the,
Right, I'm
percentage
just
you're
trying to
asking
line up the words from one to the other. So I'm seeing, equivalent yields and non-homestead rates.
yes, so the lower the rate, the higher the lower the yield, the higher the tax rate will be. And I actually, let me just look at your committee webpage. Mark might be the better person to explain how it all translates on his Ed Fund Outlook.
Yeah, because he gives us the average tax rate, but what's actually in the bill is the yield because we
Okay.
thought people wouldn't think we were setting the tax rate, just the yield, and they had to figure the tax rate out.
Got
We
it.
talk in terms of tax rate and so don't people. And we should
Right.
probably change that. Because,
And even that is not what the final taxpayer will see on their
Right.
Because then the
Right, yeah.
CLA is applied, and then there's also the income, the folks paying income is a different final tax bill. So I don't know if that answered your question, Senator Bray.
Well, I think I'm agreeing. I just wanted to make sure I'm looking at the side by side. So maybe if I looked at the bills themselves, I would, and I'll get that out and catch back up reading that alongside it. Thank you.
Abby, I'm getting a message that Ways and Means just voted out their language with the January 1 and everything else we'd already agreed on. Is that, do we have a sense? Was there a discussion that they might tweak it, or are we too late here?
So I did just have to leave your committee so that I could walk them through their most recent proposal of amendment, and they did approve it. And it, as was discussed this morning and just now, it includes, and I'm sending that to you and Faith right now for posting, as well as an updated side-by-side. Sorry, this is
Okay,
up
so the
in real
one
time.
place where we are different at this point is the January 1st audit.
That's what I'm hearing. So their yields and non-homestead rate is what they passed in H 152, and they are putting those two TIF provisions in. So the January 1st, 2022 for the first audit, and then the extension of the debt incurrence periods. And that's the extent of their amendment. Otherwise, they concurred with the Senate proposal of amendment. I believe it will be going to the House floor shortly.
So can we concur with that at this point, or we can go through? We just didn't get back to them in time. Shouldn't have given you that extra 10 minutes. All right.
Madam Chair, I just have to say, I tried before break, before we went on the floor, for exactly this reason. And it's annoying because this actually matters. This matters to the taxpayers of the state. It's just frustrating, and they don't care about the TIF timeline. They really don't. We
Well,
gave them big stuff, but we can't
We
even
can change it and send it back with a further proposal of amendment. But if we do that, we risked it. I will look at Senator Brock to see if he knows what, might happen with suspension on the other side.
I guess I would just ask that we let them know that we're on board except for October 1st. That's literally the only thing we're asking for. And maybe they could tweak it before they put it up to the floor. As you've communicated to us repeatedly, they're open to hearing what we're after, and we just agreed.
Okay, well, let me try messaging Janet.
And there's not a blanket restriction on suspending rules on our side in the House.
Okay, I just know it's been an issue.
Needed. Yeah, if needed. I wouldn't anticipate this would be a problem.
Oh, speak of the devil. Hi, Janet. I was just trying to text. (2021)
It's a teaser. Only go to every 25th word.
No, we may send you further proposal of amendment. October 1st, we split the difference, I think. I've got, just feel that's a more reasonable time. I think, yeah, well, I think the auditor wants it earlier, and so this was.
Faith, maybe you could mute the chair.
I keep doing it, Senator Pearson, and it keeps opening up. So I don't know if she wants it
I mean,
or
I'm
not.
happy to listen, but
I can't tell.
I can read lips, so I can tell you, she's saying, let's not snatch defeat out of the jaws of victory right now. We'll see how that goes. Senator Brock, you've got me thinking about Parkinson's law.
Okay, they have already voted it out. That was just telling me what they voted it out. They thought they were doing what Burlington wanted. And would make us happy. But it's hopefully gonna come. They don't know about rule suspension. I told her we might send it back with further proposal. But right now it's January 1st as it's been voted out. So we will see what we see. I'm not sure what else we can do at this point. We can send it back with a further proposal. Or we can wait.
I
But
guess
for
we're done.
now,
What time are we on the floor?
4,
Thanks.
yeah, and I'll let you know if I hear anything, and I'll let leadership know what's going on and see what they can do. Senator Sirotkin.
Maybe, just maybe what we did, now that we've done it, maybe the two parties will say, okay, we're done with this. And tell Janet and tell us that that's a fine.
I don't care. Okay. Anything, Senator Brock, are you? No, all right.
No, I don't think so. I mean, if we want to go back and we want to stick with the October date, I don't think the suspension of rules issues will have an impact on it on either side.
Well, you could see if you could get a floor amendment. If
Well, the
not,
question
we
is,
will,
who would make- who
we
would make
can
the
do,
amendment?
we will,
It ought to come from Ways and Means.
yeah. Okay, I will text Janet and see if she can get a floor amendment. All right, Senator Hardy?
I just wanted to say that I've been texting with leadership and they're working on it too. So if we can
Okay.
get a floor amendment, that would be helpful.
Okay, good. I will talk to her. She was not overly receptive a minute ago, but that was a minute ago. Okay, so I will see you back here probably 10 minutes after the floor. And we'll see what we've got then, all right? And I will see what I can do. Okay, thank you, Faith. We can go offline.